Good day, everyone. It's good to be back again. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm having a good day also. Please subscribe, like, and share if you're new. And we are going. We are trying to reach 100 subscribers. Thank you for all those who've been supporting me. Road to 100 subscribers, and the ones who have been engaging me on the comment section. I really appreciate. And it's the same rhythm. So I usually talk about geopolitics, and today I'll be focusing about Turkey. Turkey is a very interesting country, and I'll be talking about Turkey relationship with Somalia. This is something that has not been in the radar, considering that there's a lot of things happening in the geopolitical sphere. So Turkey is a very interesting country because I wouldn't consider it as a normal country. I'd put it not as a superpower country, and also I would not put it as a middle class country in terms of not economic but in terms of influence and power. Turkey was before that it was the Ottoman Empire. Now Turkey is the new face of the former Ottoman Empire, and Turkey has been doing its own things. Apart from what you've been hearing on the news, the economy of Turkey is not doing well and other things. Turkey, especially Erdogan, the president of Turkey, is trying to position Turkey back to the old days of the Ottoman Empire, back to the days of glory. Because even if you look at how he governs his things and how he does his things, even when he's talking to Putin with MBS, when I see the body language of Erdogan, I usually see a guy that doesn't see himself beneath people like Putin. In fact, he feels like he's an equal of people like Putin, Xi. His governing style is similar to Putin, Xi, MBS. It's a strong man. It's a bit of a strong man and a bit of democracy. You remember at the Shanghai Cooperation Summit, the one that happened this year, the summit had Putin, had Xi, had the president of the Iranian president, had all these leaders, this anti-Western leader, Belarus, all these leaders. And everyone, when I see that picture, because if you look at one of my videos, I talked about the Shanghai Cooperation, and one of the thumbnail was actually that picture. Also, Erdogan was invited, although Turkey is not a member of the Shanghai Cooperation, but it's in the observer stage, and very soon it's going to be a member. So, when you look at that picture, I realized that Putin was sitting down, all the leaders were sitting down round, and they were listening to Erdogan. And Erdogan was sitting at a higher seat. So at that moment, I realized that, even you couldn't notice that was Putin, because you could notice that Putin was sitting somewhere down. It's not on the floor, but the seat that Erdogan was sitting was a bit higher. And all the presidents were around Erdogan. So Erdogan sees himself as an equal. He believes that he runs an empire. You can see even when the Finnish and the Swedish wanted to join NATO, Erdogan was almost refusing. You can see his entanglement with Greece. So Turkey sees itself as a power. And today I'm going to be focusing on Turkey's influence, because now Turkey has started playing the great power competition of geopolitics, especially in Africa. If you follow this channel, I usually talk about geopolitics and great power competition. Africa has been always the battleground of this great power. We might talk about Asia, we might talk about Europe, not so much, South America, but Africa has predominantly been, if there's a patent for great power competition, I think Africa would win that patent. And now it's very interesting, because when you talk about Somalia, before you even enter into Turkey, there's a lot of great power competition. And it's not just one country. It's Qatar is there, is a player there. America is a player there. And then Turkey is the player there. And UK is a player there. France is a player there. And then apart from these great power countries, they're also, normal countries. The neighboring country, Kenya, is a player in Somalia. It has interest in Somalia. Ethiopia has interest in Somalia. You go to Uganda, the whole East African community has interest in Somalia. Now, if then you even expound it, you come to international organization. The UN has interest in Somalia. The African Union has interest in Somalia. The IGAD, intergovernmental organization, has, it's a committee of countries in East Africa, has interest in Somalia. The East African community. So Somalia is a country that's being, everyone wants a piece of Somalia. Somalia is a cake that's going to be divided, and if Somali citizens are not careful, the cake will be divided and they will be left with nothing. Turkey has already started. We all know that America was in Somalia way before the Black Hawk Down, the story of 1983. But a country that really saw Somalia as an opportunity to invest and create, not just view Somalia as a security issue, but see Somalia as an investment business issue, was Turkey. Turkey started falling for Somalia in the year 2005. That time Erdogan was the prime minister. In fact, Erdogan has helped to create this relationship till today. He is the facilitator. He has always believed in Somalia. So when in 2005, when the relationship was, Erdogan was the prime minister, he started forging a relationship with Somalia. They signed military pacts. Even till today, there are new military pacts that have been signed. Let's not forget, Somalia has been unstable. But now, the deal came in 2011. 2011 is when Turkey decided to go full force in solidifying itself, in Somalia. And, I'm going to name this video why Somalia is the new colony of Turkey. And by colony, I'm not meaning as, like the old colonies. I'm meaning more of, it's a vassal state of Turkey now, because Turkey has really invested in the infrastructure, security, and politics of Somalia. In fact, the reason why Somalia is standing, apart from the East African country, I think Turkey is, in a foreign country that's not in Africa. Turkey has really invested, because since 2011, Turkey has invested $1 billion in Somalia, just $1 billion. When Turkey and Somalia, in 2011, they were starting, trade between the two countries was $3 million. Now trade is 363 million, for just in a span of 10 years. So that shows you how Turkey has really invested in this country. The largest military base outside Turkey is in Somalia. And that's why I'm telling you, Turkey is now establishing itself as a geopolitical player. If you look at Turkey, before it didn't have this thought of expanding its military, to other foreign places. But now it seems it's following the systems of Russia, of China, of America, this great power competition. That's what I'm telling you. Turkey, Erdogan doesn't view himself as as below. He views himself somehow as an equal. So they have the largest military base there. The largest foreign embassy of Turkey in the world is in Somalia. It's even bigger than for the UK and America. It's the largest. It's around, in a property worth around 400 acres. So Turkey has really, really, really invested its money and resources into Somalia, and it seems that it's paying off, because if you look now, the Turkish companies are the ones that are controlling the port, the airport, all the businesses, the tenders, the making of roads. They're all Turkish companies. In fact, there even talks that the Turks are even bribing the officials to get this contract. The Turkish contracts are running unopposed. The Turks and Americans are training the army, but the Turks seems to be very involved in providing military hardware, training the military, trying to invest. They heavily investing in the Somali infrastructure and political system to ensure that in case Somali comes out of this war, this issue, they can benefit through having a strong ally in East Africa. And let's not forget, there's another country up there called Djibouti, which has a French military base, a Chinese military base, an American military base, and UK military base. And the reason why you see these countries are strategically placing themselves in that Horn of Africa is because almost 80% of global trade passes through the Suez Canal. So each country, each powerful country in this geopolitical game would like to have an interest in the Horn of Africa to protect its interests and assets. In case that trade that passes there is a lot of money, and Turkey is no exception. Because that Horn of Africa is very huge. So probably they couldn't get a deal in Djibouti, so that's why they settled in Mogadishu. And also Somalia is a very very big country. Somalia has untapped resources. It has oil. It has the coastline is in abundance of the has a when you look at the whole East Africa, the Somali coastline has the best fishing or marine life. So it's very untapped. A very small economy. Because I was even reading reports that even when before the Turks took over the port of Somalia, it was making $6 million a day. Now it's making over 100 in terms of trade, million dollars a day. But as any great power competition, the influence of Turkey is now starting to become very big. It's even affecting how the government is run, because there is even talks that when they are training these soldiers, the soldiers are pledging allegiance to the Turkish army, to the Turkish military songs. There are also rumors that Turkey, the secret service of Turkey is very engaged with the Al-Shabaab. I'm not saying they're working with the Al-Shabaab, but they're always in contacts, because Turkey, I think, views the Al-Shabaab as an organization. And Turkey and Qatar face this backlash because of the Muslim Brotherhood, of supporting Muslim Brotherhood. We know they talk that they support Muslim Brotherhood. So Turkey and and the Al-Shabaab, they're always negotiating and talking. And this was seen because there was this Italian journalist who was kidnapped, and it's actually Turkey that negotiated the release of the Italian journalist, and they paid a ransom of $600,000. So it's not I would say they are not working together. Turkey also sees Al-Shabaab as a threat, but Turkey understands that the investment that it has placed in Somalia, it's a very big investment. So the fact that Somalia is very unstable, it can't just, it needs also to keep into contact with hostile forces, also to protect its investments and its investments and facilities. Because what would happen if they locked out the Al-Shabaab out of the negotiating talks? They have the ports, they have the embassy, the infrastructure is at risk. So they need, even though the Al-Shabaab is a menace, they need to keep interacting with it, with the hope that one day they might drop their arms and become civilians, probably come out of the bush, or I'll say out of the desert, and now form a political party, and now start to address agendas more maturely, not in the desert or in the jungle. Now to start addressing agendas based on democratic values. So Turkey is very invested. Another thing is that people need to understand that there are two kind of Somali. There is Somalia in Mogadishu and Somaliland. Somaliland was formed because there was a dispute. There is this dispute that Mogadishu is not seen anymore as a very lucrative place. Al-Shabaab were terrorizing there before the armies from Kenya came and removed them. And there's another city that was formed almost near to Ethiopia, that's called Somaliland, and it has been very peaceful. And this now created a paradigm shift, because it was seen that there are like two governments in Somalia, and I believe that this forming of Somaliland, there are other powers that are playing, other powers outside, foreign powers. I'm not talking the movie Foreign Powers. I'm talking about great power competition. These superpower countries, they are, some are very invested in, because I've already told you there are a couple of countries invested in Somalia. So you might find that there are these great powers that want another side of Somalia to declare itself to succeed, so that they can benefit, and this other side that to succeed. So Turkey has been very involved in negotiating between the Somali Mogadishu, where it's based, which is the original government, and the Somaliland that seems to break away or have its own autonomy. But the issue is that the Somaliland administration, that the one near Ethiopia, has not seen Turkey as a fair arbitrator, because they still view Turkey as it's defending Somalia, the original Somalia. So if Turkey was to arbitrate this deal of between Somaliland and Somalia, Somaliland feels that Turkey would be very unfair to them. So that's what I'm saying. Even that breakaway of Somali seems to me that there's great power competition. There's a lot of politics. Let's not forget, the other day there was a case that was taken to the International Criminal Justice where between Kenya and Somalia, and the issue was about territorial boundaries, where Kenya was being accused of claiming more, more sea territory in Somalia territory. Each country has a reserved coastal line where this is where you are, you can operate around the ocean. Past this place, it's not your territory. It's under the law of sea. So you find that Kenya had extended its territory, its sea territory, to Somalia, and it was taken to court, to the ICJ. And Kenya, even before the judgment came out, it rejected it, wouldn't accept the judgment. And there were talks that Somalia had been pressured, or was being pressured by other forces, other countries, to take Kenya to the court, because most other forces are interested. They are saying that offshore around the shores of Somalia and Kenya, there's a lot of oil. So the talk is that there were vested interests there, so that who wanted to get the contracts to mine oil. Because if you look back, this case was being discussed through closed door, through negotiation, through arbitration, through the law of equity. The law of equity states that we can come to an understanding. Even if one country is disadvantaged, it can address the law of equity, where even if I realize that I have a stake in this issue, when the law of equity is addressed, it means that I'll have to accept the 50-50, So there was this backdoor, but and then all of a sudden there were talks that Somalia is not accepting the talks because it's not trusting Kenya. It feels that Kenya is not going to fulfill. So all of a sudden Somalia took Kenya to the ICJ. So this made the Kenyan government very, very angry, and it decided that it's not going. It felt that it was betrayed, it was backstabbed, because the Kenyan government started saying, we are already negotiating, why are you now taking us to the court? And then the Kenyan government said they will not recognize the ICJ decision. And that's why I'm saying that Somalia, when you look at it, is a very interesting country, because it's being pulled out in all direction by various forces, and a country like Turkey, we know how Turkey is very powerful. Its military is very powerful. It has the largest base outside of Turkey. The base houses 10,000 soldiers, Somali trained soldiers. If you look at Qatar, Turkey also has a military base in Qatar. Even now at the World Cup, it's Turkish police and Turkish military service, most of them, who provided security. So Erdogan is positioning himself, he's trying to bring back the legacy of the Ottoman Empire, and for Turkey to appear as a formidable force, as a big country, as a powerful country. Because even if you see how, during this period of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Erdogan has been treated like a very key player in this political game. Because we must remember that at the Black Sea, there is usually a passway where, there is usually a way, that is controlled. It's like the Suez Canal, which is controlled by the Turkish government, which allows ships to come and pass. So Erdogan has been controlling that, so that he can allow grain from Ukraine and the port of Odessa, Ukraine, Russia, and that Russian side to pass. And, he refused that military ships could not enter through the Black Sea. So it's very interesting to see how this political game goes. And let's not forget, some people might think that the relationship, yes, the modern relationship has started now, but the Ottoman Empire has always, since the Ottoman Empire, Turkey has always had links with Somalia. It's not the first time they've interacted. So I'll be watching this game very well and seeing how this geopolitics. I'll also be making another video about Qatar and the United States and the East African community, how they've invested in Somalia, and I would be trying to shed a light of what's the future of Somalia, because when I look at Somalia, it has so much potential, but then again, it's divided, because if you look at Somalia, even the division is more of a clan-based division. The women suffer because of war, the women and children suffer because of war, in terms of rape, in terms of all these injustices that happen in war. And then the men have no choice, because since the system is a clan-based system, you find that the men, a man is brought up so that the only way he can survive is to join this terrorist group like militia, Al-Shabaab, because if you hear about cases in Somalia, if you grow up and try to leave this militia gang, they find you and kill you. So the only way for a man also to survive in this system is to join this gang. So these gangs becomes your alpha and omega, your father, your mother, they protect each other. And the fact now it's a clan-based system, you find that each clan will try and get as many people from them, either it's having more children, so that it can become a bigger clan and a stronger clan. The Somali situation is very interesting. And with this kind of poverty, illiteracy, a country like Turkey, with the money that it has come with, it controls the very nature of the economy of Somalia, because trade between Turkey and Somalia is imbalanced, because Turkey brings products worth $300 million. Somalis they can sell only products less than $10 million. So you see that even Turkey has a very strong hold on the Somali economy. If they pulled out this investment, I think the country might collapse. Because the airport is run by them, the roads, the infrastructure, the military, the police. The Turks have already. It's also cultural diplomacy, because now they are spreading their culture, making their culture aware. But it's something I'll be observing. Stay tuned for my other videos. I'll upload them. And for those who have been supporting me, thank you very much. And for those who are writing to me on the comments, thank you very much. It's road to 200 subscribers, and I'm just glad. I know 2023 is gonna be a good year. I hope also for everyone. And until we meet again, guys, cheers, ciao.